Thank you to our sponsor, Filmcraft LA. You can get all of your cool and customized film gear there. Like this chair we got with the nice horror at the store logo in the back, which is awesome. You can find them at filmcraftla.com and follow them on Instagram at filmcraftla. I'm surprised you didn't bring him.
I thought about it on my way out. And then I was like, I don't know. I was like, she didn't say to bring him. So I was like, okay.
I mean, I just assume that with you comes Chucky.
Most of the time.
Like we go out.
I should have. Oh, I'm so sorry.
And you bring Chucky. And
yeah.
You're like, he can't get in. He's underage.
He's underage. Actually, he's 30, so 33.
Oh.
32? 35. I don't know why I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, when it came out in what, 87?
88.
88, so it's 25.
He's
35.
35. He's 35.
I'm 25.
That's disgusting.
That's gross. Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Horror at the Store. I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach, and it is hot as balls in this abortion room of a studio. Oh, my God. Dear God. But you know what is pretty cool is that I have this awesome human here. She's a filmmaker. You might know her from TikTok, but also from her film that we're talking about today.
What?
Her documentary about a little man named Chucky.
Chucky.
The film is Living with Chucky.
Yes, that is the title.
Kyra Gardner.
Hello.
Hello.
I didn't realize we were recording already. So I was like, whoa.
You're like, why is she doing that?
Why did she just start talking to the camera? Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Good. Are you feeling the heat already?
No.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
anemic, so.
That's good. I feel like I am too. I mean, we're both small people.
Yeah.
So
I'm just constantly cold.
Oh, I love that for
It's the ghost, though, really.
Dude, the ghost. You, in a few, maybe like a month, 2 months, we will get an episode of Chris Collins and Selena Spooky Boo, Call Me Chris also. They filmed a ghost hunting episode here, and
I was part of it.
Kyra might have spooked him a little bit.
I might have done something.
Might have done something. We can't say exactly what, but it does involve. How tall is Chucky?
I think Chucky's 3'3". I feel like I measured him one time.
For what?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Again, I was saying, I'm surprised you didn't bring him.
I know. I just forgot. Like, it's so, I don't know. It's sometimes I bring, he's also just so annoying to carry sometimes too. So then, and then also you don't know where to put him, like when you're done. Like, and then you don't want to leave him in the car. It's like an actual child.
Yeah. Have you thought of getting him a baby Bjorn?
I have thought about that now. At this point,
that'd be so funny.
It's like I did my festival circuit with this movie last year, and the amount of times that I like had to go on an airplane with him or things like that. It's not that he's heavy; it's just my arms would get tired.
Yeah, and
a few people suggested that, and I was like, that'd be crazy.
Like it'd be weird, but
as
also
if it's not weird enough that I'm like holding a fully sized Chucky doll in the first place. Like it's not going to be that much weirder if I get a baby.
Wait, you wouldn't pack him when you traveled?
No.
Oh my God.
No, because I used to pack him.
He's delicate. It's my brother.
Yes, I used to pack him in a duffel bag. Mm-hmm. But depending on the film festival, like how far it was, if I didn't like want to check a bag, I could get away for the most part with having Chucky as like a quote unquote stuffed animal and then have my duffel bag as my carry-on. So I would carry him so that I would save money.
Oh my God, you're so frugal.
Yeah, I am. I don't know how to pay $30.
That's
like,
fair. That's
I could
fair.
Just carry him instead. And also, like when you're on the plane, he can like he can fit under the seat in front of you pretty well if you like fold his legs up.
Okay.
Or he's a great pillow.
Is he? He seems hard.
It's if you hold him like that, and then I rest my head. On his head.
So if you walk by and they're like, "Is that girl sleeping on Chucky?"
And then I just look crazy.
And then, which is why it probably, I don't know if when you fly on planes, if you like want people to actually like talk to you or not, but I feel like that's a good way to get people to not
talk to you.
Talk to you.
It goes either way, or sometimes like people are like, they ask and they're like, "What's the deal?
What's the deal with
Chucky on
Chucky?
airplanes?" And sometimes I'll just be like, "Oh, it's just like it's my doll." Or other times I'm like, "Okay, I'll explain it," because otherwise I look insane. And I'm like, "Oh, my dad does the dolls for the movies, and I made a documentary about the franchise, and I'm traveling to the thing." But sometimes I'm just like way too tired, so I'm just like, "Oh, just for shits and giggies,
Just for funsies.
yeah."
I'm just a really big fan. Like, this isn't a doll.
Really big.
This
This
is
is my brother.
This is literally my little brother.
Yeah.
Or older brother.
He's my older little brother.
He's your older. He's little.
He's littler,
He's your little brother
but
because of
older.
height.
Yes.
But older because of age,
Age,
and
yeah,
when
he's
the
10
movie
years.
came out. So do you remember seeing Child's Play for the first time?
I didn't see the actual like first Child's like 1988 Child's Play until I was like a fully fledged adult.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Which one did you see first?
I didn't know it at the time, but my dad was doing like research for Seed of Chucky is the first like movie that he came on. The original puppeteer is Kevin Yeager. He did the first movie through Bride of Chucky. So my dad came on Seed, and he had to like figure out what Tiffany and Chucky's baby was going to look like. And I do remember from my childhood, my parents were watching Bride of Chucky. And I didn't know what movie it was, though. Like, at the time, I didn't know what they were watching. I just knew I wasn't allowed to be in the room while they watched it.
Okay.
And so they sent me upstairs. And then I remember as, like, a little child coming downstairs and, like, peeking.
You're like, oh, I wonder what they're doing.
And it just so happened to be the scene where Tiffany's giving birth to Glenn in the cemetery. And she's, like, burnt to a crisp. And it's absolutely terrifying. And I had nightmares for months as a kid of like demon babies in cemeteries.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, and I never knew what that movie was, but it stuck with me forever. And it wasn't honestly until doing this documentary that I was like, that's what that was.
You're like, that, all of my trauma is because of that?
Bitch. Yeah. But I mean, I had already, like later in high school, I actually watched Bride of Chucky, but I didn't make the connection. But
Okay.
So the first I watched was actually Bride.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a fun fact you definitely didn't know, because not how many people know. My apartment was the exterior in Child's Play. I lived in that apartment.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
The one where she falls out of the window?
Or like whatever the it's been a minute since
on the
I've seen-
poster.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
okay,
the like
same
the
thing.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Right? I was watching the movie and I was like, that's my apartment. I live there.
That looks familiar. Was the rent good?
It was like through a college.
Oh, okay.
So they like owned it. Like they like owned the building.
Oh, it's part of a university?
I think so now. Yeah, they might have sold it by now, but yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy. They should make it a museum.
It was expensive. It was an art school. You get into
I
art school,
understand.
it's a lot of money. It's not good. And so tell me more about your film. How has it been doing on the circuits?
Yeah.
And all that jazz. You've hit a couple festivals that I know of at least I've from following you on TikTok before we were friends.
Yeah.
I believe 2 festivals, 3, 4,
Oh, like
6,
yeah,
7,
probably.
10,
The ones that I
15.
attended. No, I mean, I don't know how many I actually played at because I don't attend them all, but I went to probably like trying to 7 of them.
Okay.
I went to 7 of them, I think, in person. But yeah, it was crazy because it was a really long process. It started as a short film that I did in film school that like just focused on the family side of like the Child's Play franchise because Fiona, if you're not a Chucky fan, sometimes I feel like don't like say things because I feel like I'm repeating myself and then I realize like this isn't everybody else's entire life. So
You're like, if you weren't born
if you
in the
didn't
Chucky
know,
realm, this is
yeah, this is what's up. But Fiona Dourif, who's in some of the movies and now the TV show, her dad is Brad Dourif, who does the voice of Chucky. Anyhow, that was like really the focus of the short film was like talking about our childhoods and how they were similar. And then NBC Universal bought it and distributed it on the, I say bought it, I got nothing. Except exposure. I was paid
and
an
that's
exposure.
all you need as a film student.
Yeah. I was 19, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
And Cult of Chucky was coming out the same year, so they put it on the bonus features of that.
Oh, cool.
which was really cool. And everybody who I had interviewed in that short seemed to really like it. So, and the fans liked it. Like, that was my first time interacting with actual Chucky fans, because to me, it's just my life. So I was like, oh, people like love these movies.
Yeah.
So, they love Chucky.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll expand it into a feature. So then I did that throughout the rest of film school, but it was hard because I had my actual like film school films that I had to do.
Yeah.
And then once I graduated, I kind of kept working at it, and then COVID took a big like plummet in it, and then people weren't investing in indie films at the time too, so it was just really hard. And then learning like the legal battles of the film industry. But shout out to literally the person who saved my movie is Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I met her at a friend's wedding, and I was like just complaining about all my legal problems that I didn't know, and she was like, oh, you should use my fair use attorney from the doc that I did, I Am Nancy. And so she has a special thank you in the credits because she totally hooked it up, and that guy is super awesome, and he came down on his rate for me. It was amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
because you used a lot of like I haven't seen, or obviously I watched it for this. I haven't seen it. I don't know what their film's about at all. I've done no research. At all. I'm finding out right now. No, but I kind of knew like the gist of it again from social media and stuff, but I'd never like actually sat down to watch it. And when I watched it, I was like, whoa, there's like you use a lot of footage, which is I was like, no wonder you got into so much like legal battles and stuff. Yeah,
I like edited with the intent of fair use, but then like nobody tells you film school, and nobody prepares you for the real world. And like, and also I had a producer who had come onto the project to like momentarily to help me completely steer me away from fair use entirely. Yeah, which was awesome. And that's also why it took so long, because I went down the wrong path for a very long time and was hitting all the walls. And like, if I had actually done everything like by the book, it would have cost me like $300,000.
Okay.
And I made the movie for like a tenth of that.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah,
oh,
so
damn.
like it was ridiculous, but with the fair use it all worked out. But it was a nightmare.
Good God. Some would say on Elm Street.
It was a Nightmare on Elm Street, really. And but it was good. And then finally finished it and started submitting it to festivals. It's crazy because at a point in time I didn't think anybody was going to even be able to watch it. Like I was just going to have to put it on a shelf because the legal issues were too crazy.
Yeah.
But then I submitted to festivals and started getting in places, and people really liked it. And then it started getting into bigger festivals, and it was really exciting. And then towards the end of last year is when I had a sales team hop on board, and then they sold it, which was really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, look at you.
Learning.
Look at you. So how many total years?
Too many.
Yeah,
no. Well, if you count from when I did the short film, it's like 6. Because, but like when I actually dove into the feature film, it's probably like 3.
Okay.
Which is still incredibly, terribly
That's
long.
a long time. And you did all of the editing yourself.
Yeah. I had a ghost, like a assistant editor from Sony polish up my movie. So I had like a really polished rough cut, and then he would go over it, and then we'd try and figure out ways to make it better and things.
Okay.
But it was hard because they work in Avid and I work in Adobe, and you can't put Adobe projects into Avid. So I was still having to like just go by his time code and like try it myself, which I still like. He did it for like very little money, so I appreciate him. But it's funny, because I didn't have any money. Like I just went and did it, so I was like, I'll just edit this in my bedroom. I'm poor. And so I think somebody left a review on Letterboxd or somewhere where they were like, Gardner should have gotten another editor and an assistant editor. And I was like, yeah, I should have, but like what money?
Couldn't.
I would have loved that, Jeremy.
Do you want to pay for that, Jeremy? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the unsolicited
advice.
advice.
I have no monies.
Yes.
I only have enough money for chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Chicken nuggies fueled that portion of my life.
Yeah,
for sure.
God, I can't imagine. But 6. We said 6 years?
6 if you count the short film, yeah.
That's so long.
It's actually kind of weird.
But it's like you're on the other side.
No, and
kind
that's
of?
like that's the weird part about it is like once it was actually started streaming in April, and like I had finished up all of like my producing paperwork, because once it was bought, then there was like several months of paperwork that I had to do that I had no idea what I was doing. And so then now I'm kind of like finally able to walk away from it, and it feels very weird, like a breakup, like I'm going through a breakup with a child,
someone
child.
say child's play.
Child's play. Yeah, exactly. I'm breaking up with my child's
I'm
play.
I'm gonna stop. But you get it because
So,
it's Chucky. For a long time I thought Chucky, it was just called Chucky and not Child's Play. So I'll be like, yeah, Chucky, Chucky.
You know the Chucky.
Chucky, and they're like Child's Play. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
What is that? Yeah.
What movie is that? What are you talking about?
That's so true. Yeah, well, because they didn't know the character was going to be what it was at the time. So, but yeah, it's weird.
So, what is your favorite Chucky film?
Child's Play 2.
Okay, why?
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 I really like, have you seen Child's Play 2?
I have only seen Child's Play and Bride.
In the second one, Andy is like in a foster home from the first film, and he gets like an adopted sister basically in the foster home with him. So like I really like their dynamic, because I have an older sister, and that's relatable. But like they're really great together, and also she's like a really like badass. She's like wears black and leather, and she's edgy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then they like end up. Also, the production design is really great for it. Like the house and the score, like the theme for that movie is my favorite. And then they end it all at an actual like toy factory, which like is the coolest production design I think out of all of them.
That's awesome. So how do you rank all of the Child's Play films? Where does that go?
Oh no, I don't know if it's consistent with what I've said before, but I would say Child's Play 2.
Or are you going top to bottom?
Yeah, top to bottom. Okay. Child's Play 2, Bride, Child's Play, Seed. Oh, shit. There's other ones. Curse, Cult, Child's Play 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a Child's Play. I'm learning a lot.
Yes.
This is the one, like I've seen a lot of the series, like the horror series or whatever, but like Child's Play is one that I have not dove into.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because I've heard that they're awesome. I just haven't. It could be the doll thing. I don't know. I don't think I'm that afraid of dolls, but like, I don't know. I had American Girl dolls growing up.
Those are scarier to me.
I made a short film where I would throw them down the stairs. So if they come to life, they're gonna be mad.
They're
at me.
so mad at you.
They're so mad at me. It was a good short film though, but
damn,
yeah.
I want to see that.
It's not good.
It doesn't have to be good.
It's good for me.
It's cathartic.
You know,
yeah.
I was like, you did
it's good
this.
therapy.
It's pretty bad. It's great though. Do you have a favorite line from any of the movies?
That Chucky says, or
anyone? If Chucky comes to mind first.
There, I mean, it's kind of overplayed, but in Bride of Chucky, you know, we meet Tiffany for the first time, and she's like very opposite of Chucky, and they're in the car, and it's when Katherine Heigl's character is with her boyfriend.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot she was in that movie.
Yeah, which
God,
is
I forget about her all the time.
Weird. Yeah, I would have loved to get her for the documentary, but like Katherine Heigl.
Yeah.
And also, she wasn't acting for a really long time too. So
didn't Hollywood like
blacklist her for a second?
Yeah.
And I didn't really like dive in, so I was just like, I don't know if this is a good route to go down. I'm not sure. But what is it? What does she say? Something about Martha Stewart. Oh, yeah, she's like, stabbings went out with Jeffrey and Dahmer. You look like Martha Stewart with that thing. And Chucky goes, who the fuck is Martha Stewart? And she's like, my idol. That's my favorite line.
I mean, she's pretty good.
She's great. Martha Stewart, and little did they know that like Martha Stewart would end up like getting arrested and then like have like a whole thing with Snoop Dogg and be like super rad. And now they like sell lighters for like
awesome.
candles,
but also
your
other
weed.
things,
yeah,
you know, drugs.
So it aged well.
Yeah. Oh God, that's on it. So you're saying The Bride of Chucky predicted
Martha Stewart
going to prison. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Really. So
it's a very Simpsons
Simpsons
thing going on. So when did you realize that your childhood was a little bit different than other people's?
The normal kid.
Yeah. Because like, you know, I had like a, you know, everyone has a quirky little childhood in their own way. But
Yeah.
like, you know, I didn't have the one that you did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Dead bodies in your
Dead
house.
bodies.
You come home to?
Yeah. I mean, there were dead bodies, but you know, they weren't because of, you know, they weren't fake or.
They weren't fake. They were real.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So your parents are morticians?
Sure. Yeah. They always were like.
Sure.
They're always like, yeah, we had other kids in between you and your brother. They just didn't make it.
They weren't alive.
They didn't make it.
They ceased to exist
Yeah.
before you could meet them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what it was when it finally clicked, but like, it wasn't really until college.
Okay.
That I was like, oh, this was not normal. I don't know what it is because I'm from Southern California,
Yeah.
but I'm from a mountain town, and it's relatively, it's not like the most smallest town that exists, but it's a relatively small town, and it kind of just like you grow up with everybody in your own hometown, and like, you know, we only had one high school, so everybody really knew each other by the time you got to high school.
yeah.
So it was already like a known fact that like Chucky was at my birthday parties as a kid because I'm an October baby and my dad does this thing. So it was like everybody kind of also in a sense like normalized this thing. And then when I went to college and I moved out of state and I went to Florida, I would like talk about stuff and people's reactions would be like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. This is like unconventional. Like,
You're like, do I have to go to therapy? I might. I'm going to bring Chucky though.
yeah. And that's honestly what like the whole documentary semester that I had at school was kind of me actually realizing. Originally, I was going to do it on my dad being an SFX artist and like that part of the childhood. But then a teacher pointed out like I refer to Chucky as a brother, so maybe like that's an interesting
You're like, maybe there's something there. There might be something there you want to explore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was so like second like nature to me. I didn't even consider it as something like interesting. So that's like really where everything clicked, and I was like, oh, I guess I could talk about this
little thing in my life.
Yeah, this
little 3'3"
menace.
little
I know I should really
little guy.
measure him.
Yeah, he's actually 4 foot.
That'd be crazy.
You're like, oh hey,
it's really tall.
Just kidding. I don't know how tall is it. Is he a toddler height? Is he a little taller than a toddler?
I actually got him a blazer
Okay.
or a vest for one of the film festivals we went to, and I had to take him into the mall because I wasn't sure if he was like a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old size, and he's between a 2 and a 3-year-old.
Wow.
If anybody wanted to know.
If anybody was wanted to get like merch for Chucky.
Merch, he is toddler size, but depends.
It depends on the day, how he's feeling, whatever.
If he's bloated.
You know, same. Dude, literally same. Chucky, he's just like us.
He's just like us.
He's just like us. He's just vibing. He's just chilling. I was also going to say, so I was going down the rabbit hole that is your dad's IMDb, and literally all of my favorite films he's worked on.
Aww.
And it's so funny. And one of my favorites that I feel like people either love it or hate it is Return of the Living Dead.
Really? Okay,
It's
yeah.
one of my favorite movies.
Really?
That's
awesome.
It's not good, but it's great.
But
to
it's
me.
great.
It's great. It's hard to get people to watch it because it is really slow.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just
and then there's that
wait.
chick in the cemetery.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know,
It's the 80s.
I'm like, it's the tar monster or the tar zombie, and that's my favorite zombie.
Yeah.
And all this is the
That was creeping me out. My dad didn't do the tar
he did
man.
he
did the half corpse lady,
corpse,
but
which was crazy.
yeah, but the tar man is really. I still look at it and I'm like, I know how you did this, but I also don't because it's that horrifying.
Yeah, it's like it's an 80s movie, but it's like
it's pretty great.
It's
Yeah,
pretty great.
it's pretty good. Yeah, and that scene with that, it's actually funny because I had not watched Return of the Living Dead before doing the short film version of this, and so when I was interviewing the writer director for Chucky, I asked him who his favorite horror icon is, and he said the half corpse from Return of the Living Dead,
And
and
you're
I was
like,
like,
wow.
that's really specific and weird. And he was like, not to like diehard horror fans, Kyra. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not a fan. And now I understand it because I've watched it, and like the scene itself is like what she says is very like changing in zombie history for like why zombies are the way they are.
yeah.
But
It's so good.
it's so good.
It's so good. So, who was your favorite person that you interviewed?
For this documentary?
Yes. I know it's tough. I know
know.
it's tough. Or like someone that you're like, oh, I didn't, just someone who you were surprised by, or like that brought a lot to the table, and you're like, this is awesome. This made it even better.
Yeah. Like as far anything like Brad Dourif came out from New York for it, which was really sweet. And he's like an older, I don't want to say like old Hollywood, but
old.
He's just like, he's had more of like the formal acting experience back in the day. And like a lot of it didn't make it into the documentary because it was just like tangents, but everything that he would talk about like his experience in acting and other things, and like his attitude about a lot of stuff. It's kind of intimidating, but like really insightful and lovely and very cool. One of my favorite books is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes,
so like the
so
fact
good.
that he plays Billy in that movie was really cool. But like as far as fun, I would have to say like Billy Boyd or John Waters were the most fun
that was
interviews.
so fun to
Billy
watch.
Boyd's just like really funny and like will crack like a lot of jokes, and I'm really gullible, and I was also kind of nervous, and so I would be like, oh really, and he'd be like, nah, and he'd go on like a 2-minute story about something, and I'd be like, oh my god, did that happen? He's like, no.
You're like, no.
I'm like, okay, never mind.
You're like, well,
he had me there. He had me though. I was convinced.
John Waters.
That was crazy. That was also weird because my dad did Hairspray, the John Travolta one, and so
Was John Waters in that?
John Waters wrote and did the first Hairspray
Okay.
prior to the 2007.
I was like
10,
7. I feel like it's
2007 Hairspray. But John Waters does have a cameo in that movie. He flashes Nikki Blonsky's character or somebody,
Oh,
on the street.
Yes.
So he plays the flasher, which is very fitting.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
I want to be that famous where I can just do like a really
Weird
weird cameo, and they'll be like, "Is that
the guy who did this?
Is that John Waters from the Creep Lonely Island music video?"
What? Yeah.
Which is how I found out
That's
about him.
how you found out?
Yeah, about him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was Hairspray.
That's okay.
But it was because my dad was on set, and then and then they became friends, and so then John Waters would send us Christmas cards every year.
Oh, that's so fun.
And I think he still does. But so I was just like, who is this man? And then I finally watched Cry Baby like way after that, and then I was like, oh my god, I gotta meet this man.
Johnny Waters.
Yeah.
Is that? I don't think anyone calls him that, but
No, but
I will.
Now
I will. I'll be like
Yes.
Johnny, and he'll be like
Johnny
Waters. Johnny Agua, as they also call him. H2O.
H2O,
baby. Where can the people find your lovely documentary?
You can find it on, I already forgot, on Amazon, Apple TV, or Screambox if you have it, which is the same horror streaming service that I think has at least the Terrifier sequel, if not both Terrifier 1 and 2, which is great.
It's also on Tubi. No, the Terrifier. But,
I was like, is my movie on Tubi?
Living with Chucky is also on YouTube that you can buy. That's how I got it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know.
I got it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's doing relatively well. Like, I mean, for being a first, like, film of mine and not knowing anything. Because also, if you watch the credits, it's literally, like, 5 people and, like, 3 of them are my name.
Oh, yeah. It was like, Kyra.
And it wasn't to be, like, an asshole. It was just, like, I really didn't have, like, the resources after having just graduated and then COVID hitting. I hadn't met anybody. And then I edited it myself. And then, so, but anyhow, I'm happy with it, but it's doing relatively well. And I think somebody on Twitter just said like, oh, it's like in the top 10 on Screambox right now, and I was like, yes, because that means I get a raise.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah,
money. Get it to. Do you know what number it's at?
I have no idea.
Well, get it to a higher number. Get it to 1. Get it to 1. Get it to 1.
If it's behind Terrifier 2, I understand.
Terrifier 2 is. We love Damien. He's a good man.
Yes, I like the first one better, but I want to be the lady who gets scalped in Terrifier 2 for Halloween this year.
Ooh, I love that for you. And
thank you.
You're also, you also do special effects, makeup. Was that like an easy thing to like fall into because of your dad, or did he help teach you that stuff, or did you just kind of go off it on your own?
I think It's hard to like say. I mean, I think sometimes my dad would like sit us down and like have like fun, like, you know, as we were kids, I don't really remember of like this is this and this is that, but you just like I've just watched him for so long, or like going into work, and you just kind of like pick up on a lot of things. So it was like always a fun hobby, and I like to do it on myself. But I'm not as like passionate about doing that every day as like my dad is.
Yeah.
But I love directing and making things that have that at the forefront of it, because not a lot of people who like, unless you're involved in that world, a lot of directors or writers or whoever don't seem to like understand it as much, so they like won't schedule things properly, or they'll like shortchange things that they shouldn't, or they won't know like you need to really have this storyboarded out, because like you're directing a puppet and the puppet can only do so many things, and also it's not one doll, it's 5 different dolls who each do different things, and if you want to change this to that, like we're gonna need 30 minutes, like so that's been a really big influence in like what I like to do. I definitely want to go back into narrative filmmaking, and that's my goal. But my senior thesis at film school was a fish puppet that was like 4 feet tall, and that's like definitely inspired by my dad.
Oh my God. Also, your dad did Mom and Dad Save the World. And that is, my mom and I love that movie.
No way.
That is like one of our favorite movies.
Oh my
Hail
God.
Todd, like Hail Todd, yeah.
I
all
can't
the
believe
fucking
you
time.
know that movie.
Dude, I love that movie. It's one of my favorites.
That's so funny, because when I was doing my thesis, I was like, Dad, have you ever like made a fish?
He's like,
fish
oh,
puppet?
boy,
And he
have
was
I
like,
made a fish.
Boy, have I made a fish. And he pulled out all his original sketches for the fish people in
cool.
Mom and Dad, which is really cool. But those are obviously little people in costumes.
Yeah.
But it was still the same like idea for the face.
That's so
cool.
I love that. That's amazing. Your dad's made so many of my favorite movies, and it's just like it's like silly. I was like, oh, I literally like all of these. Oh yeah, I get it. I like this makes sense.
He's been around the block. Yeah, it's crazy. And like Hocus Pocus and Addams Family 2, like those are everybody's like childhood Halloween movies. That's so crazy.
One of my friends out here, I'm totally blanking on the actress's name. The woman who plays Mary, that's her aunt.
Oh, okay.
So it's like everything like is like a small,
connected.
It's
LA, baby.
LA. You meet somebody and you're like, somebody knows somebody, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just little old me from Wisconsin, doesn't know anybody, and I'm like, what's going on out here?
But now you're here.
And now we're here, and I met you.
Yes.
And I'm honored. I'm honored.
I'm honored.
I'm honored that you decided to come on the podcast.
I'm happy to be here.
You decided. You're like, I'm coming on now.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I was
actually,
like, I'm sorry. Yes.
Forced you.
Yeah. So I'm.
So thank you
You're
for allowing me to be here.
It's an honor. Truly, it's truly an honor. So you can watch the film on Amazon, Screenbox, Apple TV, also YouTube.
Yeah.
Do they have an Instagram?
There is a Instagram, Living with Chucky movie, I think is the Instagram. I'm not in charge of that.
Okay.
Somebody from the sales or distro is in charge of it. But also like my Instagram, Kyra Gardner is also, you can follow it there, because then you can see my other stuff.
Yes, and on TikTok.
Oh, and on TikTok, my name is Kyra Mira, I think it is. I don't know why, but
You were like, this is
well, because that's what I made my name first, and then I think if you switch your names on TikTok, it's like a weird thing of like anything you made under a different name isn't like connected to your channel anymore. Like, so if somebody wanted to look up like a specific video you did a while ago, they'll have to go search that name instead or something.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's why I haven't changed it.
Huh. Well,
So.
You know, the more you know, we learn something new every day.
Every day.
Every day. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here, and go watch your damn film. Do
Yes,
it.
please.
Get it to number 1 on Screenbox. Do it. Get it to number 1 on Apple TV. Everything. YouTube.
Number 1.
The internet. The world.
The world.
Chucky takes on the world.
Yes. And
Also,
stay tuned for season 3.
Season 3. Let's go, baby. Thank you again, and thank you to our sponsor, Filmcraft LA.
Woo.
You can find them in store or at Filmcraft LA on Instagram. Thanks, guys. Stay spooky.